Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm taking a look at the card drafting game Moving Wild from designer Chris Priscott and publisher Oink Games. This is one of those closed drafting games a la Sushi Go where you're sort of taking cards and passing cards in order to draft different kinds of lands, to then draft different kinds of animals that fit into the lands, paying attention to sort of the amount of space in each of the lands, the different kinds of animals and how they interact with each other, ultimately trying to score the most points. I actually picked this one up from a friend, borrowing it to use to introduce closed drafting to a board game mechanisms and design class that I teach after school at my school. And while I had it, I noticed that there was a solo mode, so I tried it out and figured, hey, why not show off how the solo mode works to all of you? So with that said, let's head down to the table to see how that solo mode plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. To set up a solo game of Moving Wild, begin first by giving yourself one of these base camp cards and setting that down somewhere in the play area. Next, take the stack of normal cards, give them a good shuffle, and then place those out on the play space as well. Finally, to finish setup, I need to place out all of these scoring tokens. And then also there are penalty scoring tokens. And with that, we are all set up for gameplay. That said, the solo mode of Moving Wild does offer 4 levels of difficulty, and depending on the level of difficulty you're starting or you're playing with, the sort of AI opponent, there's not really an AI, but the opponent that you're playing against is going to start with some of its own cards. And I've already managed to win level 1 and level 2, but I haven't yet beat level 3. So the opponent, or the collector as they're called in this game, we'll start in level 3 with 1 sloth, 1 red panda, and 1 bear. So I'm going to dig through here, find those 3 cards, reshuffle, and I'll come right back. And I said I'd reshuffle, but actually I haven't yet because I'm going to have to use some of those cards to explain how the game works in just a second. But here are the sloth, red panda, and bear cards. They don't really need to be splayed out for any reason, so I'm going to stick the collector's cards right there. And with that, we are actually set up for gameplay, playing against the level 3 collector, the Forest Guardian Keiko. So a solo game of Moving Wild is going to play out over a series of 3 rounds. And each round we're going to sort of start with a different number of cards. In the first round, we will start with 10 sets of 2 cards. So I'm going to deal out 20 cards first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And I'll just set these down here as the sort of round cards, placing those back up there. And then for each round, each turn in the round, I'm going to be drawing 2 cards from this round deck, keeping one of those cards for myself, and then giving one of those cards to the collector, with sort of a series of things in mind as I'm doing that. In this deck, you will see there are a variety of different kinds of cards, basically made up of 4 different types. First, there are 2 different types of animals, and for each animal you will see either this heart here, which means it's a friendly animal, or this sort of bear-looking, sharp-toothed animal-looking icon, which means they're a hungry animal or a predator, basically. And then you're going to see below that a sort of number of dots that's going to represent the amount of space that animal needs in a location, and then the point value that that animal will score. And then some animals will have special sort of instructions written at the bottom, either for scoring or for placement or so on. I'll explain those later as the cards actually come out. But what these sort of friendly and hungry icons mean is that friendly animals can be placed with any other friendly animals. But a hungry animal can only be placed in an area with other animals that have the same name. So basically the same type of animal is only allowed to be placed together. Any other animal can't be placed with that animal because, well, they'd eat them. Otherwise, we are placing animals up to the value of any of these white cards. These white cards are the land cards, and you'll see here that this lake, for example, can hold up to 6 dots worth of animal. But in addition to that, the animals will also have a land type. And you'll see we start with a base camp. It's a good representation because this will show, or this base camp contains all 3 of the land types. So any animal could be placed there. But for example, this lake shows only the water land type, so neither the giraffe nor the lion could be placed in there because the land type doesn't match. So we're going to be placing animals based on land type in lands up to the value printed on that land. And then when we move into scoring, we're going to score based on the points of the animals times the multiplier of that land, with some extra caveats that I'll talk about in just a second. But I want to show you also there are gray cards that might, as you see here, manipulate the type of land that is there, but may also change the size of the land, may change up rules about the types of animals that can be placed there, and so on. So again, at the end of the round means I've got 20 cards here that I'm going to draw 2, keep 1 and pass 1, draw 2, keep 1 and pass 1. And when I get through all 10 of the turns, I'm going to score for that turn. And the way scoring works is I'm going to take all of the things that I drafted and organize them however I want. These gray cards must immediately be attached to a land card and will stay there for the rest of the game. The animals, however, will be placed into lands, but on future rounds at the end of the second and third round, I will be able to sort of re-manipulate them to best efficiently place them in the lands that I have available to me. And the reason that's important is because any animal that cannot be placed in a land will score me -2 points. In addition, any land that is not completely filled will also score me -2 points. So I need to do my best to draft cards to most efficiently fit animals into lands to score the most points without losing points for unplaced animals or empty, at least partially empty lands. And you'll see how all that works as I get into gameplay. But the last thing I need to do is talk about the AI. The AI is not playing anything. I'm just giving them 1 of every 2 cards that I draw. Land cards and those sort of gray ability cards or manipulation cards will do absolutely nothing for the collector. All they are simply going to do is score the number of points on each animal they have at the end of each round. Now you'll see these particular animals all have sort of scores that can be changed in some way. The bear, for example, will score 4 points instead of 3 if it's the only animal in a land. The red panda will score 3 instead of 1 if there's at least one other red panda in its location. And the sloth will score 0 points instead of 2 if it is alone. It doesn't want to be alone. However, when calculating the scores for the collector, I'm simply going to use the base score. So this bear will score 4, this red panda will score 1, and the sloth will score 2. So the collector is starting with a score of 6 points, and they will score that 3 times because we rescore everything at the end of each round. So that means I have to start at an 18-point advantage at the level 3 AI over what I'm playing. Now beyond that, everything else should come out in gameplay. So I will explain the cards as they come out, what they do, why I'm taking them, why I'm doing what I am with them, and so on as I play. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, first 2 cards, I've got a bear, again, 3 points or 4 points if it's alone. And then this penguin is going to score 1 point, but it will score 2 points if it's with at least 3 penguins at its location. That's a 1 friendly. This is a 3 aggressive. Now I'd rather not give the bear to them because they're going to score 3 more points off of it, but that penguin could be worth a lot if I can get it placed well. The bear also fills this up, but once I put that there, I can only place bears in that location. But again, I don't need to organize things until after I've drafted everything. So let's take the bear past the penguin. Drawing 2 more cards, there's a red panda and a sloth. Again, red panda wants to stay with other red pandas to score 3 instead of 1. This sloth does not want to be alone, or it scores nothing. Yeah, the red panda is only a 1 for the AI, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, here we've got an elephant. An elephant does nothing special except it's got 6 size, and it will score 5 points. So it needs a lot of space, but it's also worth a lot of points. The groundwater is nice, but I don't have any animals that need water, and this already has water, so I'm going to give that to the AI because it does nothing for them. Take And the elephant, I really need to get some lands going. Another elephant and a really big land that could be great for my elephant. I'm kind of scared that if I don't take that, I'm in trouble. So I'm giving them 5 points, which is going to be 15 points. But I don't know if I can give up that great land. Yeah, it's going to hurt, but let's see what happens. Penguin and a wetlands. Now that's a point, means 3 points for them. But I still need space for other stuff, kind of. These two need a home, which is there, but they can't be together because that's dangerous. Yeah, I'm going to take the penguin and we'll make the best of it. All right. So here's an observatory. This one says that I don't get any penalties if the land is not filled. And since this is a 10 and it's going to be really hard to fill, I'd like to have that. I'll give them the land and take that. A sloth and a jungle. The jungle would be very nice to have. I do have some green stuff that's going to need places to go. Maybe? But I feel like giving them 2 points is not a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it. Maybe. I'm worried. All right, here we go. Anteater or eel. Anteater is friendly, 2 space, 2 points. The eel is hungry, 1 point, or sorry, 1 space, 2 points. So it gives me more points than, say, a penguin, for example, but it is hungry. I'll give them that 2 points and take the anteater because the savannah is going to hold it and I got lots of space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more turns. Hippo and crocodile. Both are hungry. Hippo takes 4 spaces. Crocodile takes 3. Crocodile scores 3 points. Hippo scores 5, but the hippo is also friendly if the place where it's staying has both water and land. Yeah. So I'm going to keep the hippo, giving them the crocodile. And then our last turn, lion or another savannah. Lion makes everything not so fun because, again, it's hungry. It only takes 2 spaces instead of 3 if there's another lion with it. But I don't have space for hungry, but another savannah is also not great. I think I have to kind of hope for the future and take it because either way I'm going to end up with negative points. So let's take the lion, keeping them from getting more points and potentially using that for us in the future. Let's see what we can do. All right, so I've got 3 lands. And I need to fill things up. The hippo's friendly if I put it in a place that has both water and land. So we're going to do that. That's a 4 that needs 2 more spaces. If I put the sloth there, that's full. Then, the penguin's not going to have a home this turn. In the savannah, I will place the elephant and the anteater. That's an 8 out of 10, unfortunately. In the forest, I've got a bear. Sorry, jungle, I've got a bear. Now, which one am I not taking damage for? I think it's more likely that the savannah will fill up than this jungle, so I'm going to place the observatory on my jungle this turn, like that. And unfortunately, these guys can't go anywhere. There's no water except here, and it's full. 6, 7, 8. I could put that there, though. Yeah, that saves us. That saves us a little. If the sloth goes here instead, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It fills up. At least here I'm scoring for the penguin. I still lose a -2 because that's not full anymore, but this is full now, so that swaps anyway, and now the penguin's got a place to go. So this lion does not. So let's score. For me, I've got 5 and 1 for the penguin because there are no 3 penguins. So that's 6 times 1 is 6 points for me. 5, 6. Then the savannah, hold on, that's only 5, so that 6 is not full, so I get a -2 for that. Then here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 does fill it. Hold on, the sloth can't go there. I'm cheating. Wait. I'm cheating. The sloth can't go there. That's why I did it this way. All right, in that case, 5, 6, 7 times 1 is 7. Then 6 and 2 is 8. That's not full, but I get 7 times 1 is another 7. Minus 2 because it's not full. Then here the bear is scoring 4 points because it is alone. So that's 2, 4. And it doesn't matter that it's full because I have this special observatory that kills that penalty. Then unfortunately I have a lion and a penguin with nowhere to go, so I take 2 more minus 2 tokens. And that is my score for this turn. I'm going to stick all of my score down in the bottom corner over here, and I'll deal with it as we go into further gameplay. Now the AI, looking at their cards, they're going to score 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 is 12, and 1 is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 points for the AI. Which is a big deal because, well, yeah, 20 points. All right, then let me set these up here. They're not in anything, but I just want to get them, actually over here works better. Get them out of the way so I can draft my next set of cards. For the second round, we will be playing 9 turns. So I'm going to take out 18 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards like that. And I'll stick those there this time. All right, so again, moving into the second round, remembering that the animals are free to move around, but this will always stay with the jungle, so the jungle never needs to be filled. So this bear may just stay in that jungle by himself forever. Drafting. I've got a wetland, water and land, times 1, 5 space, and plant trees. I'd like to add trees somewhere. Let's add trees. Well, we don't have to anyway, but I'm taking the trees. I'll give them the wetlands. 1, 2. All right, here's another penguin, but here's another lake. Yeah, let's take a penguin and give them the lake. Penguin's not worth a lot, but it could be if I get it in a good place. All right, lions and giraffes. They're both worth 3 points. Giraffe is more flexible because it can get placed with other things, but lions take up less space if I have more of them. So I'm going to take that lion. All right, add water and anteater. I do kind of want that add water now that I've got 2 penguins coming out. But I could squeeze them into the savannah. Again, if I had the water, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm giving him the water. I'm taking the anteater. That may be a mistake. Jungle or expansion? Do I need more green or do I need more space? I want to expand something. All right. Add grasslands or take a new land. I think I kind of want a new land because I don't really need to add grasslands to anything. Yeah, I need space. That goes to them. Eels and valleys. This valley is nice because it's doubled whatever goes in there. Double whatever goes in there could be really nice. Like I could stick that hippo in there and get rid of them. And the eel's only worth 2. Let's do that. All right. Don't care about size. Don't care about penalties or another giant jungle. I don't need another giant jungle. More water would be fine. More jungle I don't need. All right, last one. Plateau or manatee, which is 3 size for 3 points. Let's take that. Let's see what happens. I don't know where I'm putting that now that I just did that, but let's see what we can do. All right, time to reorganize things. My hippo is a 4. but that's 5 points. I'm going to put the hippo in the valley. And move that out of the way. I'll put the hippo in the valley with the expansion, because now it holds 4. That's 2 plus 2. With a hippo, who's 4. And that's a 5 doubled is 10 now for the next 2 rounds. Is great. That means I have space in my water area for 6. That's 3 for a manatee and 2 penguins. That eventually could be a 3rd penguin to make 6. I like it. Then, in my savanna, I've got an elephant, an anteater, another anteater. No, hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That fills it up. My problem is the sloth isn't going to have a home. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, anyway, I'm attaching this trees there because eventually the sloth could go there if I can make that larger, or if I can find a new home for an anteater, or if I can make the lions not angry anymore. So that sloth is homeless for right now. Then this plateau holds 2 lions, which only take up 4 space. So realistically, the sloth could go there, except he'd get eaten, so right now it can't. And this is not full, so I'm going to put the observatory on that one like that. And then I will go ahead and score for my stuff. Hippo is 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 5s is 20. That's full, 4 and 4. Here I got 3, 4, 5. That's not full, which is a problem, but we've got 3, 4, 5. So I get a 5, and then I do get a -2 because that's not full. Sloth is a -2, unfortunately, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8 becomes 10 minus. Over here, the bear's by himself, so he scores 4, and it doesn't matter that it's not full. 2, 4. Okay, then elephant, anteater is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is full. And that scores 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Let's clear up some space. 5, 5, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is another 20. And now my points are all mixed up, but that's okay. 20. That's full, so no problem. Over here, I've got 2 lions. That's not full, but we have the observatory again, so that's 3 and 3 is 6 points. Yeah, 6, and I'll trade these 2 1s back in for a 2, like that. Is my turn. AI is scoring again, or the collector is scoring again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 5 is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 points. So moving into our final 3rd round, they're at 45, I'm at 20, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, minus 10. I'm at 41, they're at 45, so I need to outpace them again in the last round. Moving into the last round, I do take 8 turns this time, so I will be drawing 16 cards out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 cards, which I'll sit there. These don't really mean anything anymore because this is the final round. So we go. Actually, before we go, let me push things up so I have a bottom area that I can use to draft some cards into. All right, so drafting cards 1 and 2. Add grasslands or take an eel. Problem with an eel is it's water and it's evil. It's hungry. I don't have any more water space except for one for a penguin here. Unless I expand here, but then he can't be with the hippo. 2 points though. But it could end up being a -2 points for me if I don't have a place for it. I don't need grassland for anything. I've got plenty of grassland stuff. Yeah. Yeah, let's take the eel and see what happens. All right. Manatee and a hippo. Well, this is great. I definitely need some water now. That's not good. Hippo's worth a lot of points if I can get it. Yeah, I can't give them the hippo. Because either way, it's a -2 if I can't place it, and the hippo's worth points. Okay, sloth and giraffe. I might as well take the giraffe. We may be in serious trouble here if I don't get some way to manipulate things. Lion, I definitely want. Although I will show you the frog scores a 1 or a 2 if it's in an area that has both forest and water. So just a 1 for the collector. Another observatory, which does no good for me, and another hippo. I'm in huge trouble. Well, I gotta take the hippo. I'm not winning this game. Next is, a savanna and a lake. Savanna doesn't get me anything except this. The lake could get me, no, because that's still only 6, and I need 8 for 2 hippos. Huh. And neither one of them has green stuff. But the 2, 4, 6, and 10 if I could get a friendly. That's tricky. Yeah, all right. We're going to take some risks. Let's hope I get a card that makes friendly people friendly. Nope. There's an oasis that holds 1, which could double that. Gives him a bear for 3, but I'm not playing a bear, so that's okay. Now I really want the card that makes angry animals or hungry animals friendly. And nope. Yeah, well, I'm in huge trouble. All right. I don't think I can win this game, but let's see what happens. All right, so the oasis is for the eel, for sure. I've got space for a lion in there is 2, 4, 6. I've got a savanna that can hold the giraffe, but does not hold hippos. 3, 4, 5, that's a 6. All right, so we'll do, no, he can't go there, that's water. I'm in trouble. 2, 4, 6. The only place I can put, like I could put this hippo here, which is worth it because it's 5 instead of 3. And then that becomes full. And I've still got a bunch of stuff that doesn't go anywhere. Bear's not friendly. These are shut. This is shut. This is done. Hippo can't go here. It'll eat the giraffe. There's nowhere else for the hippo to go. If I had water, I could have put that there. These 4 don't fit anywhere. Yeah, I'm dead. But I think that's all that I can do. So let me go ahead and score everything and see how dead I really am. Hippo fills here, that's 5 times 2 is 10. Like that. Here we're full 5, 6, 7. And with that 5, 10, 15, 20 gets me another 20. And that is full. Bear scores 4 because he's all alone. So let's see. 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, and 20 makes 50. And that's blocked, so we're good. Over here, I've got elephant, anteater, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's full. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like that. And that's full. Here I've got 3 lions. That's only 2, 4, 6. That takes 7, but it doesn't need to be filled. So that's again 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 5 and 5 is 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Gets me a 20 back like that. And that doesn't matter if it's full because of that. Here the eel is filling. The oasis is 1, 1. That's 2 times 2 is 4. The giraffe scores 3, but this is not full, so -2. And then this is horrible, 2, 4, 6, 8, trading in that -2 for yet another -10. Ouch. All right, then final scoring to see how badly we got beaten by the collector. They've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 5 is 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 3 is 32, 3 is 35, 36, 37. 20 and 30 is 50 and 7. 5, 6, 7. The collector finishes with a score of 50, 60, 70, 82. We've got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2, 4, 6, 7, except that 97 minus 20 means bye-bye 20, 50, 60, 70, 2, 4, 6, 7. So I lose 77 to 82. That's actually a whole lot closer than I expected it to be based on what I did. So maybe it was a little bit closer and maybe I could have done something to pull out a win. So that's basically it for the playthrough. Let's talk a little bit about the components while we are here. First things first, you see all the animals on the screen. I love, 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 love the look of this game. The artwork, these sort of stark, poppy, colorful animals that are sort of almost paper cutout kind of animals. Very, very cool looking. Very easy to see at a glance whether they're friendly or hungry, to see the size that they fill up. The stark difference between the orange cards and the white cards are very quick and very easy to understand. The gray cards are, again, pretty self-explanatory. The iconography in this game is very, very good. The card quality, now, these are tiny little skinny little cards, but the quality, there is a nice finish to them. I believe, yes, absolutely a linen finish on them. Very nice card quality. You'll see here in the solo game, it doesn't matter, but in the actual multiplayer game, this is a closed drafting game, so you will be taking one and passing your hand to the next person. The first round and the third round, you pass clockwise, and the second round, you pass counterclockwise. So that's printed on the back of every card to help you remember that while you're playing, which is a very nice addition. The scoring tokens are not really all that necessary. I mean, you could just take score on pad of paper, but it is nice to have them there. 1, 2, 5, 20, and 50 are slightly odd values to have, but it works for what it is. -2s and -10s, again, there's lots of -2s, so you don't really need the -10s, but it does help to sort of cash stuff out as you're playing so that at the end of the game it is easier to add everything up with big numbers. So I appreciate that those -10s are in there. That's basically it for the components. I do usually take a look at the insert. This is a game from Oink, which means the box is fairly small, but that is all that it is a box. So the cards do fill in one stack that much of the box, and then you can kind of just toss the tokens in around the edges. It's kind of messy when it goes in. It holds nicely. There's not a lot of empty space in the box, but this is almost a game that could use with an organizer, though I'm not sure how you do it because the cards can't stand up in the box. You'll see they are taller than the box, so you couldn't put them in that way and fill in all of the tokens. You do have to sort of throw the tokens into the corners, which is a little bit of a shame. As I said, it is messy, but Oink does do the best they can with the box size that they have, and it is nice that the box size is so small because then you can sort of take it with you wherever you go. That's basically all I have to say about the components and the box itself. Maybe back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game. Welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed the playthrough. Before I dive into sort of how the solo in this works, I do want to focus first on the sort of core gameplay of this game, because I actually have gotten a chance to try this multiplayer as well with the board game mechanisms class that I talked about in my intro. So this is a card drafting game, again, a la things like Seven Wonders, Sushi Go, where you're given a hand of cards, you play a card, you pass the hand to your left or right, depending on the round, in this case with a multiplayer. And in this case, you're drafting sort of 3 different types of cards. You're drafting different animals, you're drafting different lands that those animals are going to live inside of, and then you're also drafting sort of upgrades or sort of tweaks to the lands that you're drafting. Things that could be adding more space in a particular land, could be adding more different terrain types to a specific land area, could be getting rid of some restrictions about the types of animals that can go there, or the need to be full, which I'll explain in just a second. But you're drafting lands mostly to hold animals. And each animal has a certain size that it takes up, and each land has a certain area that it can hold. Some of the lands have multipliers for scoring, but for the most part, they're all 1x, except for some of the smaller lands that you need to upgrade in order to fit things in to actually get advantage or take advantage of that multiplier. But let's put that to the side for a minute. For right now, I'm drafting lands, I'm drafting animals, and I'm drafting these sort of upgrade cards. But when placing the animals, I need to think about what animals can fit inside each land based on sort of the amount of available area and the size that that animal takes. But on top of that, there are 3 terrain types, and I have to pay attention to make sure that the animals can only be placed into lands that have the terrain type needed for them to be placed there. In addition to that, I also have to pay attention to 2 different types of animals. There are friendly animals that can be placed with any other animal that is also friendly into the lands that they match. But then there are also these hungry or sort of aggressive animals that can be placed with any animal but the same animal that they are. Basically, any animal has to have the same name as the other animals that are there if they're hungry or aggressive, so to speak. So you have to pay attention to which animals can fit based on size, which animals can fit based on terrain type, which animals can fit based on the other animals that want to go there as well. But while you're drafting these 3 things at the same time, sort of randomly coming out. So it might be that you're seeing a bunch of animals and not that much land. Or you might be seeing a lot of land and not that many animals coming out. And this is a very interesting piece to this game, because this game plays out over 3 rounds, which is not that rare for these kinds of games, because Sushi Go also plays out over a series of rounds, except that for the most part in a game like Sushi Go, you score, you put all the cards back together, and you shuffle again and score again, with some carryover like the pudding in Sushi Go that you don't score until the end of the 3rd round. But in this game, everything sort of stays as it was. So at the end of a round, all of the cards that I've drafted for that round are then manipulated, placing animals into different lands, associating those different upgrades to different lands, and then scoring what I've done. Except after that I've finished that scoring, everything stays. And when I say stays, I mean the lands that I have are still my land, the animals that I have are still my animals, and the upgrades that I've already added to lands must stay attached to that particular land. I point that out specifically because in the 2nd and 3rd round, while I'm drafting new things, I also have all of the animals that I placed before, except that those are not locked into place. So at the end of the 2nd round and at the end of the 3rd round, I can rearrange all of the animals. So based on new lands that I've drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round, and based on new animals that I've drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round, I can rearrange things to get more efficient scoring, to score more points, to make sure everything is taken care of, because I'm also losing points when a land is not completely filled, and I'm also losing points when I have animals that don't go into any lands. So I really have to think about sort of how do I balance taking lands versus taking animals? How do I take the right type of animals? How do I find animals that interact with different animals in different ways to score more points? How do I find different upgrades that allow me to mix things that I normally wouldn't be able to mix? But then also thinking long term, which is an interesting addition to this kind of drafting game, in that if I take a lot of animals in the 1st round and I don't have that many lands, I'm going to get some negative points. Except that ultimately those animals could be worth a lot. So in future rounds, if I can draft a bunch of lands, then I can rearrange everything to put those in those lands and score a ton of points. So sometimes it's worth taking the negative hit early in order to score massive points later on in a later round. And I really like this sort of push your luck that brings, because a normal drafting game has some level of push your luck, because do I take this card now and hope that the other card comes back to me? Or do I take something else that's definitely going to work and you sort of give up on that long hope that might have paid off bigger? Well, this takes that and does it round by round, but then also adds a second layer of that to the sort of overarching game structure, in the sort of total game structure itself, where I'm planning turn by turn, but also thinking about, well, in future rounds, if I can do this, this is going to be worth even more. In future rounds, if I can combine these things, or if I can get this drafted in another round, I can add this to this or move this to there and score even more points. And this sort of mix of turn by turn, or at least round by round tactical thinking, as well as this sort of overarching strategic thinking for the game, really makes for a nice, interesting twist on a sort of closed drafting mechanism that we've seen many different times. It's scored slightly differently, but this changes the gameplay loop up as well, which feels really good to me. So that's basically that for the game, and I do really enjoy what this game is doing. But talking about then the solo mode for this game, drafting in general is hard to do solo, because the whole purpose of drafting is that I take a card and I pass to somebody else, and they take a card and they pass to me. So we're sort of all making decisions that help us and potentially don't help our opponents, passing around and around and around. So in order to simulate that in a game when there are no opponents, often requires some kind of twist to the gameplay or some kind of overbearing automa or AI system. In this case, the AI does nothing. Everything is controlled by you. But it does do away with some of the draft, because now what I'm doing is each round I draw a certain number of pairs of cards, and from each pair of cards, I choose one and I give one to the AI. And the AI is scoring exactly the points that it shows on the card without any of the sort of manipulation of points or scoring based on multiples of things or connections of things. And they don't have to worry about lands, because for them, land cards and upgrade cards are useless and worthless. So for me, I kind of have to think about, not only am I taking a card for me that could score, am I giving a card to the AI that's not likely to score? But there is a bit of an interesting thought process here, because what that means is, if I have a high scoring card, I take that high scoring card. If I can score it, that's great. But if I take it and I can't score it, that's -2 points. And usually these higher scoring cards are the ones that are harder to find places to put them into, that are harder to sort of combine with other animals. So it makes it more risky for me that I may or may not be able to score that thing. But if I give it to the AI, they automatically score it. So do I take the risk? Do I give it to them in hopes of doing something else that's better and different to score more than what I'm giving them? And also, because of this continuation of round 1 to round 2 to round 3, I know that anything I give to the AI early game is going to score 2 or 3 times over the course of the game. So I really have to pay attention more carefully in the beginning, that I'm not giving them big things that are going to sort of cascade as we go through. Now, what that does though mean is that you lose the actual draft of this. So in a normal multiplayer game, I see a hand of cards that's going to eventually come back to me. So while I may not get the card that I want, I have some idea of what's coming forward. I have some idea of how many lands are out there, how many animals are out there, what kinds of upgrades might be out there. Whereas in the solo game, I'm drawing 2 cards at a time, so I have 0 information about what the future looks like. So it does make it a little bit more push your luck. It does make it a little bit more risk reward and a little bit less of the sort of longer term strategic stuff, whereas you're sort of just hoping for something to happen in the future rather than having some kind of information about what might happen in the future. And I'm not sure how that could be done differently in the solo game to give you more information without making it extra easy in the game. So there is that. Also, the solo mode has 4 different levels of difficulty, which basically just means that the AI or the opponent character, the collector, is starting with different cards, meaning they're starting with a set of points that they're going to score every round. making it harder to beat them, which means that it's not really changing the difficulty level of the game. It's just sort of giving you a higher threshold of points that you need to score in order to make sure that you're doing well. And it does add difficulty. And I did beat the first 2 difficulty levels my first try and probably wouldn't play them again. This 3rd difficulty level now, I've lost both times that I've played it, although the one on camera, if you watch in my subtitles, I realized the 2 things that I could have done differently, and I would have just barely won this time. But the point here is that the difficulty levels are very swingy or related to luck in that, remember, I'm not seeing a hand of cards, I'm not seeing the future at all, so I'm really hoping that things come out. And if I keep getting animal and land and animal and land, and I take all those animals and I give away all the lands, the AI scores nothing, but I'm getting hit with lots of negative points. But if I have like 2 animals, one's high and one's low, I give them the low, I keep the big one, then the next round I get 2 lands, they score nothing, and I get a land that I can put the animal in. Just because of the types of cards that came out, I do better. So there's definitely a lot of randomness in the draw that's going to determine how well I do versus how well the AI does. So as a purely solo game, this is not a game that I would recommend only solo. That said, I do have a whole lot of fun playing this game solo. I've played it 6 or 7 times solo now, and I do enjoy every play that I'm playing, simply because that puzzle of sort of doing the best I can in a round and then doing the best I can sort of stretching out over the 3 rounds really is a fun efficiency puzzle, a really nice risk-reward, push-your-luck kind of puzzle. And yeah, I may or may not be able to beat the game on any given play because of the cards that come out. It doesn't bother me so much, especially if I'm playing it more as a sort of beat my own score kind of thing where I'm comparing to previous games and seeing how well I'm generally doing and then sort of moving up the ranks of the AI as I get better. It does show some progression. There is some level of getting better at this game and understanding the kinds of things that work out and crossing your fingers, and when something pays off, it pays off and it feels really good. There's a lot of that here, and I do really enjoy this game, both multiplayer and solo. If you're gonna play it as both, and you are looking for a closed drafting game, huge recommend for me on this game. I'm really, really enjoying the core concept here. The base sort of mechanical loop in this game is a whole lot of fun. If you're looking for a game for solo mainly, I don't know that I'd suggest this as the best solo drafting game. But again, if you will be playing it as both, I would definitely give this one a look because I'm having a whole lot of fun with it. Nice small package, lots of nice decisions, lots of nice sort of push your luck, payoff, celebration kind of moments. I really enjoy this one. That's basically all I have to say. Again, I hope that this video was helpful for you. And as always, if it was, I do ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks.